Hello, beautiful being. Welcome back to another episode of the Spirit of Spaces podcast. If you are watching this on YouTube, you may notice I'm in a slightly different location today. I am, in fact, house sitting for some friends, and I'm sitting outside in the glorious sunshine under the shade of a huge yew tree, surrounded by greenery, surrounded by the spirits of the land, surrounded by lavender and flowers. And I'm so happy that the rain came at last, when we danced for the rain and we prayed for the rain and we sang for the rain. We really deeply needed the water spirits, the element of water, to come and wash away so much of that old energy that had been dried out by the sun and the drought and the lack of water that we've been experiencing here in England over the last few weeks. So I'm really happy to be sitting outside and actually seeing that the trees are green, the birds are singing. You may even hear some very strange calls in the background from, there's this one bird sitting in the tree above me, and it's just making this cuckoo kind of sound. So you might hear it in the background at some point. But what I really want to dive into today is this moment, this crucial moment that we are in at this time between two eclipses. We had the first solar eclipse happen, the first one in many, many years happen on the first day of Medicine Festival, which I've just come back from. So that was on the 12th of August. And if you looked at my Instagram, you would have seen that I did a whole post about the eclipse and what this means from a feng shui perspective, from a lineage perspective, some of the things that you can do to honor the time of the eclipse. And now we're in between these two portals, from that first solar eclipse to when the lunar eclipse happens. And the times are wild, and you might be feeling it. And now, I'm not an astrologist, nor do I claim to be any kind of expert in planetary movements, but I am an oracle. I am psychic. My spirit animal is a spider. That's my main spirit animal, along with the dragonfly and the colibri, or the hummingbird. But my spidey senses and my gnosis tells me that something really deep is moving through the collective right now, and I'm sure that you can feel it too. The spirits of the land can certainly feel it. And I think it's incredible that after such a long period of drought, we prayed and prayed at Medicine Festival for the rain. In fact, all of the sacred fires had to be shut down. There were no fires at the festival over the 5 days. We weren't allowed any fire at all. And they turned all of the sacred fire altars into water temples and water altars, which was the feminine energy coming in, this yin. We've had a whole summer full of yang, like the peak of the fire horse energy that I've been speaking to, where it's been building up and building up. And I've spoken about this, like, peak yang energy is the perfect time to have a feng shui reading on your home. Like, this is the time to be shifting that energy. And now that we're in this eclipse portal, this is another perfect time to really understand that we reached that peak, that height of the yang, the fire, and we're in the fire horse year, and there's so much fire. And if you have too much fire and not enough water, then you deplete, you burn out. And that's what's been happening to the land. That's what's been happening to farms, to properties, buildings, fields around the UK, forests burning down. Things have been burning down. The land is depleted. It's tired. It's thirsty. It needs the yin. It needs the water. And this is represented so beautifully in what's been happening. And the spirits of the land are talking to us. They're telling us, like, pray for the rain. We need the water. We need the yin. We need the feminine. And we prayed and we prayed and we prayed at Medicine Festival. And on the last day, in the closing ceremony, we just felt these drops of rain. Now, it was just a drop, but since then, you know that the rain has been coming. And I'm so happy to see that that yin energy is coming through, because this means we're on a threshold of change. Like, we're standing on a threshold, a moment in time. And it's like this moment where your old identity can no longer drive the bus. It just can't. It's solar season. And if you feel it in every cell of your being, which I do for sure, and I've seen it in the clients that are coming to me, who are literally standing on that threshold of change, wanting to sell apartments, wanting to close a chapter, end a relationship, move forward in an area of their life, in their career, in their relationship. Let go of this old version of yourself. This is the time, because it's time for a shift and a change. And that requires courage. It really requires. There's the sound of that bird. I don't know if you heard it. It was like almost in agreement with what I was saying, because it takes courage to walk through the front door into your new living temple, to embody who you're becoming. It takes courage to close that door behind you and lock it so that you can unlock your next level identity. It really does take courage to do that. And this is the time in between this eclipse portal, as we're on this precipice of change, as we've just headed through the most yang fire peak sun drought season that we have seen in so long. Like, I don't think it's a coincidence that we haven't had a fire horse year since the 60s, and we haven't had a drought since around that time too. Like, I don't think those two things are coincidence. This is the spirit of the lands are talking to us. They are always communicating with us, and it is our responsibility as humans who steward this land, who steward the earth, to be listening to the spirits and what it is that they are trying to communicate with us. And this is the time of your becoming. This is the time for an identity shift. This is the time to let go of that old. It really is just like the moment, and you can probably feel it. Like, I can feel it in my body as I'm talking to you. I can feel that urge to just let it all go. Any of those old patterns, the habits, the spaces, the homes that no longer have the capacity to hold the version of you that you're becoming. It's a portal. It's a portal to your new life. Going through that front door, like crossing the threshold. I always talk about the front door in feng shui because it really is the mouth of chi. It really is the first place where the energy is going to find you. And if there is resistance and blockages in that front entrance, then the chi cannot easily make its way through. And therefore, you're blocking opportunities. You're blocking your path and your portal to crossing the threshold into this new level identity of who you get to become. It really takes courage to walk through that front door. It is the portal to your new life. And once you've crossed it, you can't go back. You just can't. Door shut, key locked, new identity unlocked. And this is the spirit of your space talking to you, your home, your living temple. It knows it. It knows you're ready. It's waiting for you. They're waiting for you. They have wisdom to share, messages to give you, insights into where you are still holding on to your own identity within the walls of your home and your space, and how you can shift it to open up to the flow of chi for this new cosmic timeline to open up for your next evolution. Like, this is the time. We are in a crucial time right now. So I want to give you some things that you can do during this time to support you in that new level identity. And the first one, I'm always going to talk about the front door. I've already mentioned it in this episode, is about that mouth of chi. It's about keeping your front door clean and clear. This is the first point where all beneficial energy or chi enters and nourishes your home or your business. And so if you want to be attracting the right kind of people through that door, who are you welcoming across the threshold into your new life? Who are you letting go of? Like, who are you shutting the door on? Who no longer gets access to your living temple? Who no longer gets access into your living home, into the evolution of your space? Because it's time to shut the door on those people, on those situations, on that place, that space, and that timeline. And you've got to really think about, like, who is it that I'm letting into my front door now? What am I letting through my front door? What ideas, what thoughts, what patterns, what habits, what energies? It is so important that you keep your front door energetically clean and you respect it. So every time you walk through your front door into your living temple, into your home or your workspace, I'm going to invite you to give it some gratitude. Like, thank you so much for allowing me to step through this portal into the new evolution of my being. Thank you so much for allowing me to step into my new timeline. Thank you for being a safe sanctuary for me to evolve into who I am becoming. That's the first thing I'm going to ask you to do. Really connect with the spirit of your front door, connect with the spirit of the space. I highly recommend that you get a welcome mat outside of your front door that says welcome home, so that it feels welcoming to both you, to the spirits of the space, and whoever you are allowing to cross the front door. Clear away any clutter, any debris that's outside of there, your bins, any like dead plants, prune them back, make sure they're watered, make sure you're like fertilizing and sowing the seeds ready for it to grow again and to root again, because come next year, you are going to want these plants to reroot and to regrow and to support you in your expansion and your evolution, because you're going to continue to evolve. You're going to continue to shed identities, but this is a particularly important time for that. Every time I say that, that bird makes that sound. So we're going to listen to the spirits of our winged being friends up in the sky and in the trees and take that as an absolute yes of agreement. The second thing is not to ignore clutter. Clutter is more than just a pile of things in the corner of your room or in the center of your room. The bird agrees with me again. This is not because you need a picture perfect home. That's not what feng shui is. You don't need a picture perfect home. But clutter really does represent quite a few things. First of all, it represents stagnant energy. It's just sitting there. It's a pile. It's not doing anything. It's not moving the needle. It's not allowing you to move forward. In fact, it's actually how I see it is it's undecided energy. Like clutter equals indecision. Like if you can't decide what you're doing with that stuff, you are leaving these open loops of energy open. And that's really draining and depleting. When you haven't closed the loops and you haven't made decisions and it's all, like the energies are floating about and you're like, it's in your head and it's in your space, you can feel that and it's very overwhelming. And often it puts you into freeze, which means that you don't actually do anything with that clutter. The clutter is indecision, and making those decisions and moving and clearing that clutter will actually free up the space to give you the clarity on where you get to go next and who you are bringing into your next evolution, what part of yourselves you're letting go of, what part of you wants to be embodied in this new version of who you're becoming. So don't ignore it, because it's either every item that you have is either supporting your life or it's draining it. And it's reminding your nervous system of a version of yourself that you've already outgrown. Like it is time to fully Marie Kondo your clutter. Get on it. I'm setting you that as more than an invitation. Like, let's go. Let's clear the clutter. This is super important. The third thing that I would encourage you to do during this time is not to fill every corner of your home, because space is sacred and empty space is not something to fear, right? It's an invitation for new opportunities, for ideas, relationships, and abundance to arrive. Empty space is like the void, and we are in a void right now. We're in between eclipses. We're in a void. We're literally in a void. So don't be afraid to leave empty spaces. Don't be afraid of it. This is where fertile ground happens. This is where creativity flows. This is where chi has the opportunity to get into, to clear away that stuff so that you can open up space for the new. And your home needs room to breathe, just like you. Just like you. These are going to be really important for you as you make your way through this eclipse portal, because I know that you're on the threshold of change. Every client that's come to me is on the threshold of change. I'm always on the threshold of change, and I feel it particularly in this eclipse portal. Like before, the person I was before I went to Medicine Festival, arriving at Medicine Festival, and I'm going to do a whole other episode on this and the spirits of the land there. But the person I was before I arrived at Medicine Festival, to going through that first part of the eclipse, the solar eclipse on the 12th of August, to now the 25th of August, 13 days later, almost 2 weeks later, still in the portal, which ends on the 28th of August. And there's still like a time period beyond that too that's going to be important. Like, I'm not the same person. I'm just not the same person. I've had upgrades already in that time, and I'm implementing them in real time. Like, I'm making them happen. These are not just ideas and downloads that have come to me. That's how it started. And then I kept asking for the signs and the signs and the signs, and I kept meeting with the signs. And I'm going to do a whole other episode on that. And I'm following it. I'm following those signs because I know it's going to lead me to the next evolution of my being, of my business, of the message that I came here to share, of this mission that I hold so deeply in my heart and my soul and my womb, to share with the world about the spirit of spaces and how to connect to it on such a deep level that it shifts your life in the most incredible way. So now is the time. And to support you with this evolution, to support you with this identity upgrade, I'm offering 5 radiance resets if you book within the next week. I'm only opening my books for it for the next week at this particular time with this particular theme in mind to support you with what it is that you are shifting through in this eclipse portal. If you book it during this week, you can still have your session after the eclipse has ended. But this is the time to just go all in on yourself and say, yes, I am ready to walk through that front door, that portal. I am ready to let go of that old version of me that is not serving me anymore. I am ready to embrace this new life, this new me, whatever it is that you are letting go of. A career that you know is no longer in alignment for you, a relationship that is draining and depleting you, a schedule where you are overpacked and you've got no spaciousness, a pattern that just keeps repeating itself, a habit that is not serving you at all. This is the time to be clearing that. And I can guarantee you that the spirit of your space, the spirit of your home, will show you exactly where you are holding on to those old identities. And it will have messages and wisdom to share with you how we can clear that to move you forward into your new timeline. I'm going to link the link in the show notes to book your radiance reset. This is my most in-depth, powerful session that you can have. I will cut straight into the root of what's going on. And within one session, you will already start to feel instant changes. Have multiple sessions, you are going to see full life upgrades. Guaranteed. I've seen it over and over again. I'm not saying this to be arrogant or cocky. I'm saying this from a lived experience of the number of clients that have come to me and the number of testimonials I've had afterwards, where almost instantly their life changes. From somebody who's been trying to sell their apartment for over a year, getting an offer on their apartment, to somebody who had no visibility in their business, sending me a voice note a week later saying they've had their busiest classes yet, to somebody whose child wasn't sleeping through the night, to getting a message a week later saying, my child is now sleeping through the night. Thank you for clearing their energy in her room. Like, this is not a joke. What I do for you is so powerful and so important in your becoming. And it's not just me. I'm not working alone. I'm working with the spirits of your space. And that's the most important part. They are guiding you. They are helping you. And then when you start to learn to connect to it, you can always have them as an ally in your journey. Now is the time to book that radiance reset. I guarantee you, you won't regret it if you book it in at this time. You deserve to live the life that you desire. You deserve more. You deserve to feel free. You deserve to feel nourished. You deserve to feel spacious. You deserve to feel held, loved, supported. You deserve to live a life of service in a way that lights you up from the inside, a juicy, erotic life. You deserve all of that. You didn't come here to be a slave to the system. You didn't come here to be entangled and entied. You came here to be a free, liberal being on the land. And you came here to live in the way that nature intended you to live. And now is your time. Now is your time. And I'm fully here for your liberation. I'm fully here for your sovereignty. I'm fully here for the woman, the person that you are becoming. And I cannot wait to support you in that. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of the Spirit of Spaces podcast. I cannot wait to see you again next week. As always, if you liked this episode, please leave a review. Give me some 5 stars on Spotify, on YouTube. It really helps to get the message out because I feel like what I'm sharing is so unique. There's the bird again in agreement. It's so unique and it's so important. And most people have no idea. So just a little request from me to you that if you are enjoying this podcast and you feel like you're benefiting from it, please spread it out. This is the Aini. This is the reciprocity. This is the web of the spider. And I love you. It will come back to you tenfold. I can't wait to see you in the next episode. Have a beautiful, magical day. Hold on during this eclipse portal. We're almost out of it. And I am here to support you with that radiance reset when you know you are ready to cross that threshold.